What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Dissect That Film podcast, where once a week we talk about our favorite movies from a movie franchise, and that's about it. Or we talk about a topic. Smooth intro. Today we are talking about The Nightmare Before Christmas, Angela's pick for December. And joining me, as always, is the wonderful DNA Gaming, consisting of Dan and Angela. Welcome.
Hello.
Sorry, I ate a cookie before we started.
Angela is
snuck up on you.
Angela is all out for this movie because this is her number one. All right, she's got her Zero hat on. She's got her Oogie Boogie onesie. She's got some tats.
And all of my stuff.
And yeah, she is a Nightmare Before Christmas super fan, as we should say. And as for me, somebody who has this movie in their top 10, I have nothing other than the Blu-ray. So, yay me.
You got that.
Dan's got his work shirt on, so that's one thing. That's that he's got to come in his podcast attire here, and try not to. And he's trying not to die as well.
Oh, absolutely. Professionalism all the time.
So today we're talking about The Nightmare. I always consider it a nightmare, but it's The Nightmare Before Christmas, or Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. But I'm not going to do that because I don't want to give as much credit to him as he thinks he deserves for this film. This film was directed by Henry Selick, who also directed James and the Giant Peach, Coraline, and he's directing a film coming out next year. I can't remember the name of it. Angela, if you could help me out with that. I don't remember.
Is it the one that's in the same vein as all these other ones?
It's a stop motion film. Yeah.
Oh, it's Wendell and Wild.
Yes.
That's the one, yeah.
Very, very excited for that. Yeah. Oh, and he directed Monkey Bone. Remember Monkey Bone? Was that Brendan Fraser? Was in that?
Yeah, it was.
So
that one was weird.
That was a weird one. That had stop motion in it though. The Monkey Bone was the stop motion. The Nightmare Before Christmas was his first time directing a theatrical release. Before that he had done music videos and shorts. But this is a man who has been put to the wayside when it comes to this film because of the fact that it is called Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. A lot of people throughout the years, and even me for a short period of time, thought Tim Burton was the guy who directed the movie, but he didn't. And to be honest, if you have watched documentaries on this film, if you've read anything about this film, Tim Burton had had literally barely anything to do with this movie, other than the fact that he wrote the original poem. He had the original ideas for a lot of the characters, and he wrote part of the script.
Yep.
Other than that, he didn't do much.
Being fair, that's actually a large contributing factor because we've actually listened to the poem. I don't know if you have, but it's a majority of the story as a whole.
Right. But it's one of those things where at least this is just according to, Henry Selick and a lot of the people who worked on who actually were hands-on with the film. He didn't really come to the production much. And when he was there, he was very bossy. He was very controlling of the whole situation, even though he was there. According to Henry Selick, at least from what I've read, it was only like 8 to 10 days of production total.
Which makes sense. It should have just been called A Nightmare Before Christmas and just excluded his name from it.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
Well, because he wrote the original poem, and to be honest, he was kind of the one who got it off the ground. So Tim Burton was he was an artist at Disney, and he wasn't the Disney breed, as you should say, when it comes to the ideas he had in the type of animation that he was trying to put out there. And he was, I don't know if did he quit or was he let go from Disney?
I can't remember.
I want to say he was fired, but I also don't know because he went back to Disney and said that you have some
of my work.
you have some of my work.
Because he had
I want it.
created, because he had
I still wanna do
created,
it.
right? Because he had created the poem, and he had
Mhm.
created a lot of the animation, well, not animations, but the
Artwork.
drawings of the artwork of like Jack Skellington and Sally and stuff while he was working for Disney. So when he was fired from Disney, they owned that. That was there.
Yep.
That was theirs. So when he had been trying to get it off the ground for a few years, and he couldn't get the rights to it because Disney had it. And you know how easy it is to get stuff from Disney. They got
also I had heard that because when he was first made, the story, it was like what, the mid early 80s, something
Yes.
like that, when
Yep.
he originally concepted it.
Mhm.
But it was like he wasn't really anybody. But when he came back to Disney, that's after he had done Batman, Beetlejuice, all that
Mhm.
shit. So like, he was a name now.
Yeah.
Like they could make money off of him.
So it was stated that he decided that he couldn't direct it because he was doing Batman Returns, which was in 92. The production for this movie started in 91. And then, of course, the movie didn't come out till 93, because if you ever watch the behind the scenes of the making of this film and most stop motion, it takes a very long time. Very,
It took
very
him
long
3
time.
years.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of there's always been controversy about Tim Burton and his involvement with this film, but you got to give credit to where credit's due. Henry Selick is the man behind this film. He put a lot of his, he busted his ass to get this film made. And unfortunately, because of the fact that Tim Burton's name is plastered on the title, he has fallen to the wayside. But he went on to do amazing work. James and the Giant Peach is a fantastic movie, at least to me. I feel it's a fantastic, brilliant stop motion. Coraline, that one's a good one. And then I'm very excited for this Wendell and Wild, which I believe is going to be on Netflix next year, which is in the same vein. It's in that same, animation, which is awesome. This film, when it was released, wasn't released under the Disney banner. It was released under their parent company, Touchstone Pictures, which was pretty much Disney owned, but it was for more mature films.
Remember, Touchstone Pictures also released, prior to this, Pretty Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So Disney had a movie about a prostitute. Just throw that out there.
Yeah. Disney had quite a few questionable films, But then Touchstone went away, and when it was re-released in 3D, that was the first time the Disney logo was attached to this film. So now it is in the Disney, echelon. This movie budgeted at $24 million, which is, it's a pretty high number for an animated film, but for what the amount of work they had to put into it, it makes sense. But box office was at $91.5 million, which in 1993, for a movie as revolutionary as it was, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, because I had heard what I had heard is it wasn't overly popular its initial releases. It wasn't until re-releases where it actually became popular. Because
it was aimed for children, and parents didn't think it was a children movie. Like it wasn't. Yeah. Like it was like, oh, this is actually scary. Like why would my kids want to see this?
That's fair.
So, and
I did.
Yeah. And this movie was released October 29th, 1993. So only 2 days away from Halloween. Which is pretty crazy.
Good timing.
This is a movie that is definitely put. It's one of those movies which is great because it's not just people can put it as a Halloween movie, or you can put it as a Christmas movie. And of course, it's December, so we're considering this a Christmas movie this month. But it's also a film you could literally watch any time of the year. It's just so good. Yes. Some amazing voice actors in this. Chris Sarandon, who we've talked about before, he was in Child's Play and Fright Night. He does the talking voice of Jack Skellington. Catherine O'Hara, another brilliant one. We talked about her. She was in Beetlejuice. She was in Home Alone 1 and 2. She was in Schitt's Creek and many other things. She plays Sally. We have William Hickey. He was the evil scientist.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare. You're going by IMDb, aren't you?
No, that No. Well, he's the evil scientist, Dr. Finkelstein, or was it Finkelstein?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Well, in the credits, fact,
I
credits,
hate it though.
he is considered the evil scientist.
I know, but
is his name ever mentioned in the film?
I think Allie says it.
Okay, because
that's
Jack.
Jack says it.
I thought he just calls him Doctor.
Maybe he does.
The whole thing.
I do know that. I do remember somebody says it.
Because I believe that is why his name is not mentioned in the credits, is because his name is never mentioned. It's the same. It's weird because it kind of reminds me of Halloween. Michael Myers' name is mentioned in Halloween, but in the credits he's not considered Michael Myers. He's considered the Shape.
Yeah.
It's
I
weird.
hate that too.
Yeah. So also Glenn Shaddix is the voice of the mayor. Glenn Shaddix was also in Beetlejuice. Yep. And Paul Rubens. Do you know Paul Rubens was one of the voices of? I can't remember which one it was. I can't remember. I know it's Lock, Stock, and Barrel, but I can't remember which one is which.
No, it's Lock, Shock, and Barrel.
Oh, Lock, Shock, and Barrel.
He does Lock.
Okay.
Catherine O'Hara also does Shock.
Yeah. Well, it was weird because I remember I was watching it today and I heard her voice and I was like, is that the woman who voices Lisa Simpson? Because it sounds very much like Lisa Simpson. But then I looked it up and it is Catherine O'Hara.
Since you're on, I was like Danny Elfman does Barrel.
Oh yeah, Danny Elfman does Barrel too.
Yes, and he is
the clown.
Yeah, and he is the singing. And he is the singing voice of Jack Skellington. Yeah. The reason they cast Chris Sarandon to be the talking voice of Jack was because his talking voice sounded very similar to Danny Elfman's singing voice, so that people wouldn't be like, "Well, that doesn't sound like the same thing." So, bravo, good job. And Frank Welker is the voice of Zero. Do you know who Frank Welker is? Yes. Literally the voice of Scooby-Doo. He's been the voice of a lot of Transformers.
Yeah, Megatron.
What?
Shockwave.
We watched something on
Frank Welker.
On everything he's been. Mm-hmm. It was like 200 something.
If you've heard any kind of like animal noise from like the 90s all the way back to the 60s, it was probably Frank Welker.
Yeah.
Yep. The only thing I couldn't...
Groups.
And then we had Ken Page as Oogie Boogie, which I've actually never heard of him. I was looking up his IMDb. I didn't know who he was.
He's in Cats.
Am I supposed to? Cats is awful.
I want the butthole cut.
Cats?
I used to watch Cats on PBS
I can't.
all the time.
You want to know what ruined it? You want to know what ruined Cats? The newest Cats that came out. That abomination.
No, don't watch that.
I don't want to watch Cats ever. I don't want to watch any Cats because of that shit film.
Oh,
They ruined it. Blame the people who created that stupid Cats. It's garbage. Oh man.
Greg Proops was in it too.
Who the fuck is
the guy from? Whose line is it anyways?
Greg.
Greg Probes.
Or Propes, however you say it.
Probes.
Yes, he was in Who's Line.
Probes.
I don't know.
Yes.
Whatever.
I was like, what? He's in this?
Hey, he's the voice of one of the three, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Or no. He's just a voice of one of the side characters in Halloween Town.
He's the devil and the sax player and the Harlequin demon.
Yeah. We get some awesome throwbacks to other franchises and stories. We have I know that Mr. Hyde's in this. We have the little kid who looks like Pugsley Addams from the Addams Family.
Yeah.
He's got his eyes sewn shut.
He's got. Oh, maybe he doesn't have a name. I thought he had a name.
The Scarecrow that Jack is before he becomes Jack Skellington during the "This Is Halloween" song is shows up in Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow in the beginning. It's in the cornfield, the beginning chase scene. There's the guy, they're riding by the cornfield and they see the guy looks out and he sees a scarecrow. It's the exact same design as Jack before he When he sets himself on fire and then jumps into the fountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to try to remember that whenever we cover that movie.
Yes. Oh, can't wait. What a great. I like how Dan's actually excited to talk about another Tim Burton movie. It's like he likes.
Apparently, this isn't a Tim Burton movie.
That's true. That's true. Well, we did talk about Beetlejuice though, so it can be considered another Tim Burton movie. So I wasn't wrong.
But this one I'm excited for because I actually really like Sleepy Hollow. I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah. And Patrick Stewart did the opening.
He was originally did.
The original opening.
Who was the original? When I watched it on Disney Plus today, the narrator in the beginning of this film is not Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
But he did the original.
On the soundtrack, apparently.
Yes, I have heard the Patrick Stewart version of the intro and the outro, but I've never. But what? Why? I thought that was I didn't know that was the original. I thought that was like when they remastered it, they added him in. Why did they take it out? Damn you, Disney Plus!
I know.
I like how Zero's nose is just a glowing little jack-o'-lantern.
Right.
Do you have any idea how many people, and I'm going to bring it on TikTok, were like, oh, I didn't know it was a jack-o'-lantern. I thought it was a red ball. And I'm like, are you serious?
I love how you are about this. This is fantastic.
Like, how do you not know? They show a close-up of it.
So angry. Know what you're talking about. All right. Do you have any more facts that you want to share?
I do.
All right.
So, hello.
We got a wild animal just climbing all over the place.
You're not supposed to be up there, are you?
It's Scamp. Don't mind her. She felt the need to be included today.
I know. She's excited. There were 230 sets built for this.
Wow. That's crazy.
That spanned over 19 sound stages.
For figures this big.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. There were over 100 camera operators, puppeteers, set builders, and prop makers to
change out the heads and to operate all the puppets.
Yes.
Yeah, I got what you're saying.
Let's see. All the sets were made to fit together like a puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
So the animators didn't have to reach more than 2 feet. And when they did have to reach over 2 feet, there were trap doors to where they could just pop their heads in and move the stuff and then go away.
Oh, it just seems,
I was like, this is really cool.
It just seems so exhausting.
There were 8 camera crews, 20 to 30 different lights on some sets.
Wow.
All the sets were lit so they made a mock-up of each area. They scaled it down and lit it before they made the larger full-size set. So they had to pretty much do everything twice before they did the movie. I was like, that's really
wow.
Let's see. So each second of the film had the characters move 24 times per second. So each minute of film took a week to finish.
Wow.
Well, I mean, you got to think because for those of you that don't know,
and they explained it in the thing how stop motion works because
not even just that. I was going to say most film projectors run at 24 frames a second.
Yeah.
Most projectors or movies are shot at 24 frames a second. You ever watch like soap operas on TV and everything looks weird and really fluid and stuff? It's because those are shot at like 60 frames a second.
They're all weird.
Movies are generally always shot at a slightly slower
speed. You mean they're shot? They look awful.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
It was always so weird though. Like everything the way they moved, I'm like it's odd looking. All of Jack's faces were different heads, so he had like hundreds of different heads.
Yep.
And then all of Sally's faces were masks because they couldn't move her hair, so they just popped a mask on her face. They just popped it off. It was weird seeing her head without a face on it.
Well, it kind of reminds
like
of the
alien.
No, it's reminiscent to the clown with the tearaway face.
But she still had eyeballs.
Oh, That's awful. That's like
So it was like that alien from Independence Day.
yeah. It's like the terrible glitch from Assassin's Creed Unity when it came out. They had the really bad glitches where its face was gone, but it was just eyes and a mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Ah! Oh man.
so all the puppets were either ball and joint or hinge armature, and they were all hand machined for each individual character. So they had to make 3 to 4 duplicates of each character, so they had to close to 200 different characters.
I'm tired just thinking about all of this. This is exhausting.
I know.
This is exhausting.
I watched like it was like a behind the scenes, the making of, and like just seeing they were panning behind. Tim Burton was in, I think it was Tim Burton was in the room, I guess approving of each one, and like you could see really tall the witches, like the really tall witch, there was like 2 of her, and the short witch, there was 2 of her. And it was weird seeing like 4 Sallys just standing there. Like one had a face, one had no head. You know, it was really cool.
It was for that decapitation scene that they never filmed.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Watching the making of Oogie Boogie, like they had to put, they filled him with foam. It was cool. It was just really cool.
So I know that they did an episode of Movies That Made Us on Netflix about this, which was where I got a lot of the information about the whole conflict between Henry Selick and Tim Burton over pretty much how, like we said before, like Henry Selick kind of was, he was the director and really a huge creative mind behind the film, but yet no one knows, like no one remembers, no one thinks about it. Unless you worked on the film or are a diehard fan of this film.
Well, even in the making of that I was watching, like you see Henry Selick is just, he keeps going on how we did this and how we did this, and then you see Tim Burton maybe 5 times, 6 times.
Yep.
And then it's just Henry Selick.
Yeah. It's disappointing. Because he deserves a lot of credit for this, for how this movie made out. Yeah, like Dan was saying, this movie was not a success like right out the rip because of the fact that it was made it was made for children, but yet a lot of parents were against showing their children this movie because it does have some, frightening parts. Do I show my children? Absolutely, because it's not scary. It's not meant to be. It's a very cool concept of how there are different towns for all these different holidays. And, what if one of the heads of one of these towns got bored and wanted to hang out or wanted to incorporate another into their town? It's a very cool concept. And I'll give credit to Tim Burton for, coming up with the idea of the story itself. But that's about it. And I'm not saying like, I've heard different things about Tim Burton, and I won't go into detail about them, about how, I've heard people say that he's not a very nice person, or, he's a pain in the ass, whatever. I don't care. I just don't like the fact that this has his name attached to it like it does. Because I feel it discredits a lot of the people who really put a lot of work into this film. And clearly it took a lot of work to make this film. This movie is only an hour and 16 minutes, but it took 3 years to make. That just shows how much work went into it. And it's kind of the same thing of, I'm trying to think of a good example. It's like if Ridley Scott, when he made Alien, he created that story. What if he put Ridley Scott's Alien? Like it takes away from everybody else who's made the film. What if, James Cameron fucking, not that the Titanic is his idea, but Jesus. Or James Cameron's, is it called James Cameron's Avatar? No, I think it's just called Avatar. But what if he put that, even though we all know it's James Cameron's Avatar, for Christ's sake. But yeah.
Though John Carpenter was known to do that.
Oh, I mean, yeah,
He worked on the movies though, but he worked on.
Yeah,
those
he was the
movies.
director. He created that story. That was his baby. As much as Tim Burton wrote that original poem and wrote that idea, he really had nothing to do with this movie.
Yep.
Other than helping it get, the funding it needed to get made, because he had some people on the inside of Disney, and he
was like an executive producer at best.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Really cool one. Danny Elfman had all the music written for this movie before
it was like 3 or 4 days.
The scenes were even made.
Yep.
Like, he would have Tim Burton tell him what's going on, and he would write the song.
Yeah. I guess there was a lot of creative differences between Tim Burton and Danny Elfman on this film. So when Tim Burton was to go, he was going into Ed Wood, which is a weird film with Johnny Depp. He decided to go with a different composer because of all the trouble that he got from Danny Elfman during the making of this. Danny Elfman literally would come back, though, and do all the scores for the rest of his films. I think he was doing, because he was the composer for the 2 Batmans, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, pretty much anything you could think of when it comes to Tim Burton. Danny Elfman was the composer, I guess, except for Ed Wood.
Yeah, so there's that one.
Pee-wee Herman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, he's in this movie.
Who is?
Pee-wee Herman.
Yeah, Paul Reubens. He was actually in Batman Returns, too. Which was directed by Tim Burton. He played the Penguin's dad in the beginning.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I hadn't seen that movie in so long, dude.
Mr. Cobblepot.
Ah, yes.
Mm-hmm. And he would actually, fun fact is, he would then come back and play like the same character in the Gotham show. He played the Penguin's dad.
Fair enough.
Which is so weird.
Keep it alive.
Yeah, I mean, the music, I love every song in this movie. There's not one song I'm like, it's fine. Every song is great. And you know what's even better? When I turn the subtitles on and I can actually sing along, because I am really bad with lyrics. Even if I hear a song a million times, I still can't remember all the lyrics. So it was great to see the lyrics and I could sing along to the songs and annoy my children as I was watching. Because What's This is my favorite song from the movie.
Oh, yeah.
But it's the most fast-paced song from the movie.
I agree.
I can't say that I like all the songs.
Okay, what song is your least favorite?
I don't like Poor Jack, where he's singing in the cemetery at the end.
Oh, yeah. I guess I can agree.
I don't like talk singing, and he does a lot of that.
Yeah.
If you're gonna sing. Don't
Is it
talk.
It's not. No, Jack's Lament is the song he sings in the beginning.
Yeah.
Right after the Halloween song.
Yeah.
I thought you weren't the biggest fan of Sally's song either.
Oh, and like,
all right.
When Amy Lee
It's
sings
all right.
it, it's amazing.
Oh yeah.
And if you don't know who Amy Lee is, she's the singer of Evanescence, and her rendition of that song is brilliant.
But you know why I don't like.
Yeah, she doesn't. She doesn't like Sally either.
I'm not a big fan of Sally. I don't like that they turned this into a love story.
Yeah, I don't. That's I think one of the issues I've always had with this movie is the fact that like you never really get anything from Jack to Sally. Like you never sense there's any feelings from between Jack and Sally from Jack's perspective. But of course, throughout this entire movie, Sally is in love with Jack. And she's trying to prevent him from doing something bad because she knows like he's not thinking straight. And it's a one-sided love. But then at the end, when he figures it all out, then they go to the top of the little mountain and kiss. Like, what the fuck? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, he just automatically falls in love with her. I don't know. That was weird. That I can agree. That is one of those plot points where I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense.
It was like, oh, they're here. Oh, let's go here.
Right.
Like, it's not he knows that she's there because everybody knows everybody in town.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like an obsession with her, and he's just, okay, you're Sally.
Mm-hmm. I love the mayor, Glenn Shaddix. It's so weird that he is the voice of the mayor. When we had recently watched Beetlejuice back in October. They don't sound alike at all. The only time that you kind of get a hint of him is when he's knocking at Jack's door trying to go over the plans for next year's Halloween, and then he falls down the stairs and he yells. You're like, and you're like, oh, okay, there it is. But when he talks, it doesn't sound like him at all. I love
the mayor.
The mayor's great. I love his his double-sided head, which is a knock at two-faced politicians, which I just love. How there's like the happy-go-lucky, and then like it's supposed to be like the evil side, but it's more of the scare. Every time he gets scared, he changes. It's great. Or mad. You know,
I love it.
The Dr. Finkelstein, he's great too. I love when he takes off the cap to his head to scratch his brain. It's a really cool effect. And of course, you get the little like cameo from Igor. You're like, oh, okay. There's his assistant.
Yeah.
Like,
Master.
The planes.
Oh, this whole time? Oh, never mind.
Oh, so good. So good. All right. Do we want to go over the plot now? We ready to go over the plot? All right.
Yeah.
So, of course, this movie opens to a great song. It's called "This Is Halloween," and we get the first shot of the scarecrow as it points to Halloween Town, and they sing their song that we can't legally sing on this show because Disney might, destroy us. You might never see us again. Yep. But I love the song is great, and I love the fact when Jax shows up as the scarecrow and he sets himself on fire, jumps into the fountain, and then rises up. Everything just fits perfect. The song is just a great opening to a movie, and it really gets you involved. And then, of course, after all this happens, the mayor is very happy. He's always overexcited about everything. He's like, until next Halloween, we got to think about the next one. Got to keep thinking about the next one. And Jack is that guy who's been doing the same performance all the time and is bored. He walks away, and he's, was it the musicians at the gate who say something to him?
The band.
Yeah, he's like the same, doing the same thing on the same day, as he's like, walking away. And that's what we get. The second song, Jack's Lament, which is the one he sings in the cemetery as he's climbing the really cool hill that's like folded up, and then it like unfolds itself so he can walk down the other side.
Yes.
Oh, what a great effect. Listen, like we said, literally 5 seconds of a stop motion movie takes hours. Literally hours. It's unreal. I think after this is where Sally spying on him when he's singing the song in the cemetery?
Yes.
And he also calls.
Yes. I don't. So, wait, she does, but she has already been taken back to the. Yeah,
but that was when she goes, when she
tower.
She drugs him and she goes to the town hall.
Or this is where she's picking the deadly nightshade. So she is spying on him.
She's spying on Jack because he's singing. He's got Zero with him. I like how he taps his leg at Zero's grave, and Zero comes out. And another great song, all done by Danny Elfman. And we go to the tower, or the laboratory of Dr. Finkelstein. Yes, and he is. Sally is creating a concoction in a cauldron. She's got the deadly nightshade. She's got the frog's breath to hide the smell of poison or whatever it was, or
frog's breath.
Yes, and then she like almost passes out from that.
Yeah,
and then she brings it to him.
Funny, because she doesn't need to breathe.
Yeah,
at all.
I thought that was later. She does that. She makes the soup with the nightshade and the frog's breath. That's way later.
That's way later.
Because this is where Finkelstein, she escapes.
Oh yeah,
because Finkelstein finds her.
And because it then shows Jack wandering into the woods, and that's when he discovers the trees with all of the different holidays on them. We have the Easter egg, we have the turkey, we have the 4-leaf clover. Am I missing one? Other than the Christmas, I said the turkey. I said turkey, Easter, St. Patrick's Day, and then Christmas.
Yeah.
I think there might have been another one, but I can't remember. And that's the one that catches his eye, the Christmas one. And is this? And I think it cuts back to the mayor trying to get hold of Jack, and he's talking about. He's like, Jack isn't home. He hasn't been home all night. I love those guys as after he rolls down the stairs. You got the creepy guy. Jack hasn't been home all night.
Oh, I love it because he's like, Jack, I'm only an elected official. I can't make decisions by myself.
I love that. It's great.
As he rolls down the stairs.
I love him.
So great. So then, the Christmas tree door catches Jack's eye, and he opens it, and you see some wintry things going on in there, and he turns to Zero like, I don't know. And that's when the wind catches him and sucks him into the door, and you never see Jack again. The movie's over. Have a good night, everybody.
And bye.
Yeah, he falls into a thing of snow, and when he pops out, that's when we get my favorite song of the movie. What's this? And he's literally going around singing about all the different things that are going on. What is going on in this town? We got little elves creating presents, and he thinks they're children, yes. Which is funny. And yeah, they're making toys and, doing a bunch of things. And I love my favorite part of the whole thing is when he's in the snowman and the train goes by and he's hopping, and like all three of the pieces of the snowman are like coming apart
I'm upstairs.
Like an accordion.
Yeah, that's a good shot.
And the last shot of everything is him trying to figure out where he's at, and then he crashes into the sign, and he's Christmas Town. And then you see I love what you don't actually see Santa. Like when he opens the door, you don't actually see him, you just see his shadow, and I love that animation of the shadow of Santa on the snow.
Yeah.
Because that's like the only bit of animation they put in this film, or all the shadow work. Because like in the beginning, when they're doing the This Is Halloween song, you get the shadow in the moon, which is Oogie Boogie.
Yeah.
Which for the longest time, people did not know that. Mm-hmm. People thought it was dead, but like for those, like it looks like Oogie Boogie. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cut and dry, dude.
Yeah, like in that opening, you see almost everybody except for the kids.
Yep. Yeah.
Hoopla.
Yeah, it's hoopla.
No
hoopla. So Jack is excited as everybody, like the mayor, we get cut back to Halloween Town. The mayor is freaking out. He's like, what? There's only 365 days left till next Halloween. And one of them's like 364.
Yes, it's the Wolfman.
Yep. And he's like, we gotta sound the alarm, and it's just like a cat alarm that he's got on the front of his car. Like, it's so good. And that's when Jack shows up. Well, you could hear Zero. He's barking, and Jack comes out riding like a little snowmobile with a bunch of presents in the back, and he tells the mayor to call a meeting.
Yeah, because this is where Sally slips the deadly nightshade in the soup, so she.
Right. That's where she makes her soup to feed Dr. Finkelstein so that she can go to knock his ass out and go to the town meeting because she can't leave. I like her little trick of knocking the spoon to the floor, and she takes the spoon that's got the holes in it to look like she's eating it because he smells the frog's breath. So he's like, I won't eat it until you try it.
It's frog's breath and something. What's it?
Like frog's
breath, and he puts something else. She puts something else after the frog's breath.
Frog's breath and worms.
No, it was worms.
Like, there's nothing more. Yeah. Nothing more suspicious than frog's breath and worms wort.
No, he was excited about the worms wort, but then he smelled the frog's breath, and that's when he got suspicious and told Sally to try it before he did. And she does the little trick with the spoon, and then he just guzzles it down after she's done. And then it shows her covering him with a blanket. She goes to the meeting, and that's when Jack has that's when we get our third song of the movie. Can't remember what the name of this song is.
I just put it down as a town meeting song. I
think that's what it's called. I think it's just called Town Meeting. And yeah, it's just Jack going over all of the things that he had found over in Christmas Town. And we found, and there's a man who runs it all. His name is Sandy Claus. Sandy Claus.
Yes.
Which is great. I love
Yeah,
it.
They don't have claws at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so pretty much he's like, we want to spice up Halloween Town. We do the same thing every single year. So why don't we turn this place? Why don't we do Christmas too? We're going to have our own Christmas. And everybody's like, yay. And Sally's like, this is bad.
Yeah.
She, as much as like the whole love story thing is just doesn't make any sense. I do like Sally in the way that she is the one who kind of helps get the story to finish. Like she, I mean, in the end though, Jack figures it out himself because he's an idiot and he almost dies, even though he's already dead. I don't know how that all works.
Double dead.
Yeah. Just, yeah. Oh, man, I should put the clip in for Beetlejuice for that guy. He's like, what's that room? What's the room? The dead, the room of the lost souls.
Yeah.
Where the dead die.
Well, there was like fan theories of Sally that she was. I know she's a doll that Finkelstein makes, whatever.
Yeah.
But that she was a witch and was dismembered for being a witch. So because she can use, herbs and everything, and has premonitions or whatever, and she was dismembered as punishment.
Very interesting. You spot the like little cameos from like certain things from other Tim Burton movies. There's like a couple toys during the Making Christmas song, and it's a duck and another thing. Yeah, and it's from Batman Returns.
Oh. Yeah.
And then the snake from the sand snake or sandworm from Beetlejuice makes an appearance.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I think the only thing they changed the color of the sandworm, because the sandworm, of course, in the original was, yeah. So, yeah. So they, Jack is talking about Christmas. This is the great thing. Let's do this. Yay. We're on board. And as he's going over telling everybody what they're going to be doing to make this happen, we meet our three little deviants, Lock, Shock, and Barrel, which is a play on Lock, Stock, and Barrel. And boy, I love these characters. And I love that they're wearing masks that are identical to their actual faces.
Exactly.
It's so great. They literally take off their masks and it's their faces are exactly the same. So good. And
You forgot the song. There's another song.
What's the other song?
It's where he goes and he goes to Dr. Finkelstein and needs to borrow equipment from him, and he's doing all the experiments.
No, that's I thought that was after. I thought that this was right after the town hall meeting where he goes over all the things that he wants all the people to do.
No,
the first town hall meeting where he explains everybody what he found there. Then he does.
So he doesn't hire a lot. Oh my god.
He hires them after because Sally falls out of the window and sews herself up, and she's like made a drink for him, and she like sends it up to him.
Oh yes.
And he disappears, but they sing the "Something's Up with Jack" because he hasn't left, and
right, and he's up there like he's like writing like formulas on his board, like candy canes plus this equals this.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
and he's like doing like weird experiments.
Yeah, and then he goes to Dr. Finkelstein to have him make reindeer.
Yes, and then that's when he hires Lock, Shock, and Barrel, right, to kidnap Sandy Claus.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I don't want you to get that Oogie Boogie involved in this. And they're like, of course, Jack. But then they have their fingers crossed behind their back. Just so good.
And then they sing the Kidnapped Sandy Claus.
Oh, God. I love that song.
Copyright strike. Boom.
Have you ever heard Korn's version of that song? It's so good.
I love it.
I love it.
Love it.
So, yeah. So they're singing theirs. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, because we're talking about covers. Because we were shitting on him the last movie we covered, and I didn't specify this, but I actually like. Is it Fall Out Boy's cover of "What's This"?
Oh, Fall Out.
What?
I think
Fall Out Boy does that, or which one? Who does that? Because Panic at the Disco does one, and somebody else does the other one.
So my least
Fall Out Boy.
Fall Out Boy did "What's This."
Yes,
does. They do
did a
what's this.
cover of it.
Yes.
I like Fall Out Boy, particularly older Fall Out Boy,
I-
but I just didn't like their version of Ghostbusters theme.
I only remember the Flyleaf version of What's This, and I hate Flyleaf. They're a
Yeah,
terrible band.
There's the Fall Out Boy.
I've booed them
It's
at a
good.
concert, and I don't feel bad about it.
You stick it to them, dude.
They're bad. They're so bad. I'm sorry.
Well, which one does Panic at the Disco do then?
Oh shoot, they do one too.
They did songs.
They do This Is
This is
Halloween.
Halloween. Okay, that's what it is. But if I'm going to listen to This is Halloween, it's not the original one. I'm going to listen to the Marilyn Manson cover.
Yeah, I have the soundtrack.
It's called like
20th
Reimagine. It's like
anniversary,
Reimagine.
the remastered one.
Nightmare Revisited.
or whatever.
Is the,
Revisited.
yeah.
Yeah, I have that one
Yep.
somewhere in the house.
Yeah.
So we get the kidnap the Sandy Claus as they're going to their
Yes.
lair, which is so good. I love all.
Big Red Lobster Man.
Yes. And I love it. Like they're they throw the bugs in the cage, and he throws it down to Oogie Boogie, and you don't see, you just see his shadow going around the room, and it takes the bug and then throws the cage back upstairs. They hop into the tub that walks around. It's got human feet.
Yep.
What a great.
I was kind of hoping that would have been in my. I do have the bug that they give. I have the bug.
The attention to detail. Got to include the
Yes.
bug. Got to include that
Got
poor
all of
bug.
it.
My tattoo artist is awesome.
Got to show got to put an RIP like in small letters over the bug. Poor guy. So they go off and do their thing, and that's when Jack kind of has Jack already has the aha, which got him into this whole thing. So they're doing, everybody's kind of working together to get Christmas made. And is that when do we get the Making Christmas song yet?
That's after they bring Santa Claus back.
No,
This is where
at first they bring the Easter Bunny.
Yeah. But this is where he asked Sally to make him a Santa outfit.
Yes.
Because he has already had the vision about Christmas being a disaster.
Yes.
What the hell does he tell the Easter Bunny? He's like, I'm sorry for the misunderstanding, sir, or something like that. And he's like, the stuff in the bag. Like, take him home first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Like how polite he tries to be about kidnapping somebody.
Yeah.
Even though it's the wrong person. It's just...
Yep. You kidnapped the wrong guy.
Which door did you open?
We get so we get the awesome song, or we get we then get them having the conversation about making his Christmas outfit. Mr. Finkelstein Dr. Finkelstein making the reindeer, which is great. And then later on we get them bringing Santa Claus. But at first it was them knocking on Santa's door and saying trick or treat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then throwing the bag over him.
No.
Well, I love it. At first it's when Santa Claus is in his house and he's talking to Mrs. Claus, and he's talking about like all the kids being naughty or nice. And he's like, nice. Yeah. And then there's like one naughty, and he's like, hey, there's like barely any naughties this year. Oh. So yeah, they kidnap Sandy Claus, and they bring him back to Jack. And that's, Jack's being as polite as he possibly can. He's like, oh, I'm a huge fan of yours. And I just, want to give you a break, give you the day off. And he's like, day off? What do you mean? This is the one day I actually work. I have a day off. It's 364 days. Oh.
So they do Making Christmas before they bring back Santa
Claus. Okay, that's what I thought. It was because that was when it was right after the Easter Bunny when that all happens. Yeah.
Yeah, because Dr. Finkelstein starts making another.
Yes,
Sally.
he's like, yeah, because he's so annoyed with Sally.
That wretched girl.
Yeah. She keeps drugging him and escaping. Like, how many times has he been drugged by this?
It's happened a lot.
I love when she throws herself out the window and falls apart, and she's just full of leaves.
Yeah. She just sews herself up like nothing.
Yeah. I love that there's somebody there too, just watches it all happen. They're just like, nah. This is normal. This is normal.
Her cat though, like it's her. She's pictured a lot with a cat, so I don't know if it's like her cat or if it's just
A cat?
a cat that's there.
I don't know. Very interesting.
But I like the making Christmas montage because it's back and forth between them in Halloween Town making presents
In
as opposed
Christmas
to
Town.
the elves making presents
Yeah.
and like all theirs are dark and that's where you get the duck.
Yeah.
The vampires are making the duck with
Yeah,
the
with
bullet holes.
Yeah, and like the fangs.
Yeah.
I love where
Yeah.
the thing is taught. One of the characters is making a hat and it's made out of a rat, and he's like, "Why don't you make it out of a bat?"
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
tosses it on
Right.
his head. Oh man, this movie so good, so timeless.
It's great.
We get so they Jack has Sandy Claus, so that means he is the new Sandy Claus for this year. Gets all dressed up, and we still get the montage of them getting the Santa's sleigh all nice and shiny, and then it's Jack's sleigh is literally like it's got some tracks on it, and then it's got a coffin.
Yeah.
And it's attached to the 3 deer. A fun fact about the deer that Dr. Finkelstein makes. So the reason why he only makes 3 is because the picture that Jack shows him about making them only has 3 deer on it. That's why he only makes 3 compared to the 8 that Santa has.
8.
Yeah.
Or 9.
Or
depending on
9
the
if you have
story.
Rudolph. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
that's
10 if you got
weird.
Robbie, or Rudolph's son there. Do you remember Robbie the reindeer?
No, I don't.
You know,
remember Robbie
you've
the
never seen Robbie the reindeer? You need to watch Robbie the
gosh.
reindeer. We're going to talk about Rudolph and Robbie next week.
Jesus.
A classic and a
Be
what the fuck.
prepared. Oh. Be
Oh
prepared.
boy. So they do that, and Jack is ready to go. And we get the thing where Sally is like doing the final touches on Jack, and she's like, "It just doesn't look like you anymore." And he snaps the picture in half because he's accepting this is his new life. This is who he is now. He isn't the Pumpkin King anymore. I'm the new Sandy Claus. And
This is where the Jack realizes what he's missing because he's like, I'm still missing something, and he takes Santa's hat. And he's like, oh, now I'm done.
yeah.
I'm good.
Yep. And he sends Sandy off with Lock, Shock, and Barrel back and throws him down into Oogie Boogie's lair. And I love how they have to like really shove him in there because he's a big man.
Yeah.
You can fit down a chimney. You can fit down this.
Yeah. I love how the pipe just like expands as he's going down. It's a great effect. But this is where we get Oogie's song, which is great because it's literally Sandy. It's literally Santa trying to, tell him like, this is going to be, there's going to be repercussions for this. And he's like, are you kidding me? You must be joking.
That's
Kid
right.
Page is shining a moment, and only he can sing this song correctly, in my opinion.
It's a great song. Very, very good song.
It'll be so sad.
Jack takes off, and we get the great montage of him delivering the gifts and then the kids waking up to open the gifts. And they're all getting attacked and chased by the gifts.
I like my favorite one that I always remember is the kid that pulls the severed head out of the box.
Yeah, the parents are like, what have you got there?
It's the shrunken head from Beetlejuice. He pulls out of the box.
Exactly.
But Sally tries to foil his plans by putting the
fog. The frog.
breath in the
No, I think it was just it was just like a fog
That's
potion
right.
or
Yeah.
something.
No, she put stuff in the fountain.
Yeah, and
He's like,
and he's like,
"Oh."
I can't do it. But then, of course, we get the Rudolph ripoff with, Zero's nose glows, and he's like, oh, Zero, you can do it. You lead the way. And yeah.
And then Sally sings her song.
Yes. And we get Sally's song.
Catherine O'Hara just sings it so well.
Yes, she does. She's fantastic. But yes, she needs to keep track of her children.
That's right. That's right.
Kevin!
I mean, you're not wrong.
Oh man, she's in a commercial. I don't know if I talked to you about this. She's in a commercial for like Capital One where she is in like a Macy's and she's like looking around. She's like, oh, Kevin. And then it's Kevin Hart comes out of nowhere and he's like, what?
Nice.
And they talk to each other for a little bit. And then he's like, you really need to stop losing your children. She's like 70 years old.
It's in a commercial?
Huh?
I said Tim's in a commercial.
Kevin Hart? Oh, yeah. I've never understood this joke.
I don't get it.
I've
Oh,
never
you must not have
understood
been a part of it.
I've never understood this inside joke.
It was so we were playing a game, and it was who would you want to play you in a movie? And Tim says Kevin Hart, and it's just been like the ongoing thing ever since. Because he's like, we look exactly alike.
Oh boy. Since we're talking about Kevin Hart, I just want to throw it out there. I recommend a show on Netflix called True Story. It's got Kevin Hart and Wesley Snipes. I recommend it. 2 thumbs up.
Okay.
So if you have Netflix, check it out. Back to
Netflix.
Nightmare Before Christmas. So it's just a giant montage of children being terrified by the gifts that are being delivered. And that's when the freaking like National Guard gets called in and starts shooting like anti-aircraft missiles at
Yes.
Jack. It's so dramatic, but it's so great as he's like, hey, everybody, you're welcome. But there's a like one of the reindeer, I think, gets shot out of the air.
Yeah.
Because at first it doesn't hit anybody, and he's like, oh, they're celebrating.
Yeah. And then it
the
hits
next
the
one
sled.
hits, and he's like, oh, they're shooting at us.
So he gets knocked out of the sky, and I love this is one of my favorite shots, just the shot of Jack draped over the tombstone. Like it was like the arms, I think he's like laying in the arms of a statue, but it's perfectly shot as his like costume is all in shambles. And he comes down, I think he sings he sings the song You Don't Like, right?
Yeah, it's poor Jack.
Yeah.
Just because there's just a lot of talking, and he sings a couple of lines.
Yeah. So
it gets better at the end, but the first part I was like, I can do without it.
So he decides like, okay, I need to fix this. So I need to go get Sandy Claus back. He runs into Lock, Shock, and Barrel, and he asks where he is, and he said, oh, he's with Boogie. And he's like, he's with Boogie? So he has to go save him because he knows Boogie's a bad dude. So supposedly, in theory, he's in exile, right? Oogie Boogie?
I guess. He's a bad guy.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like it's never really explained like why. Like this is literally Halloween Town. Like this is full of scary creatures. Like what did Oogie Boogie do to be in exile or whatever? I don't know. Well, it's very confusing.
If you go by the song, this Halloween, they sing, one of the lines is, "It's our job, but we're not mean in this town of Halloween." So like maybe it's just like obviously they like to scare people, but not maliciously.
Right.
But maybe
they're not out to hurt anybody.
But yeah, obviously.
But he is.
Well, yeah,
it's entirely different.
His real, he plays to kill.
Yeah.
Right. So
because Sally sneaks in and gets trapped.
Yep.
With her leg.
Yep. Where he tries to seduce him with her leg, which is great.
I love it.
And Jack comes in to save the day. He does a little showdown with Oogie, which is a cool little back and forth as they're like dodging stuff. And he's, Jack is, avoiding all of Oogie's traps. And then he notices that Oogie's got a little bit of something hanging from his little, sack. And he ends up getting caught on one of the, it's like a spindle thing that like spins around and it unwraps Oogie, and you find out Oogie Boogie's full of bugs. And he falls into this fan and just kills all the bugs. It's kind of very reminiscent to the death of the Wicked Witch of the West, where instead of melting, his bugs are just falling down into this fan and getting destroyed. It's great. And Jack apologizes to Santa for everything that he did. Santa's like, yeah, you're dumb. Don't do this again, idiot. Let people who do this, professionally take care of it, okay? He's like, I'm sorry. And so he goes,
listen to her in the first place.
Yes. This is where you get the really weird flip for Jack, where he kind of notices that Sally has been there for him the whole time, has been trying to help him, and then he just falls in love with her. Santa goes around and fixes all the mess. I like how we get the montage where he goes around and takes all the bad toys and gives them good toys. So all the kids are happy again. Yay! And we get the final narration as after Jack and Sally sing and go to the top of the hill and kiss.
Simply meant to be.
Yep.
And there's snow in Halloween Town.
Yes. You get snow in the cemetery, which is great.
What's this?
Yes. And that is it. That is The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yay.
Yay. We finally
You know what we
talked
didn't
about it.
do?
What?
Nobody asked. We didn't do that if we asked or what we thought of the movie.
I mean,
You can still. I want to know what your favorite song and who your favorite character is.
yeah. Come on, Dan.
You all know mine is.
The character's hard because there's a lot of characters I like, but it's What's This is my favorite song.
Good choice.
Damn.
Good choice.
But yeah, I don't really think I have a favorite character. Like I enjoy a lot of the different characters. I could just be like that default person and just say Jack because he's like the main character in the movie.
Everybody likes Jack.
But there's a lot of characters I do like, so I can't. That's why I don't pick. But yeah, that's good stuff.
I don't like Jack. I like Jack, but I don't like Jack. Like I don't like Jack because I think he's dumb. Like he's an idiot.
He's up his own ass.
Yeah. The mayor is probably, it's between the mayor and probably Lock, Shock, and Barrel. I love those three characters. They're creepy and they're conniving.
Yep.
They're children. And it's like the perfect, creation. Like it was literally like, yeah, let's make, children, like realistic children, but with a little bit of a darker side.
They're the three best trick-or-treaters.
Mm-hmm. And of course the mayor, because I love Glenn Shaddix. I thought he was fantastic.
I just love his quips.
Yes, so good.
Quips.
And then of course, What's This is my favorite song, as I stated before.
So good.
It is so good.
This is good. I still like Oogie Boogie's song.
Yes, that's a great song too.
Oogie Boogie's my favorite. With a close second, the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be on my next tattoo.
What, Oogie?
Oogie's gonna get finished.
Oh yeah,
He's not
you already
finished
had
yet.
Oogie. Yep.
But then the mayor's gonna go up here.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
Right.
So, back in 2001, Disney actually proposed a sequel, but instead of doing stop motion, they requested it just be straight up animation. And Tim Burton said he pretty much talked Disney out of it because I guess even though he wasn't very much involved, he was still very protective of this movie. So he pretty much was like, no, this is just not going to be a good idea. Instead, we got a 2004 video game called The Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge, which was literally served as the sequel to this film.
I heard it was terrible.
I never played it.
Terrible.
I've actually heard different. I heard it was all right. It doesn't mean what I heard was correct. I just said I've heard it's okay.
So in February 2019, it was reported that a new Nightmare Before Christmas film was in the works, with Disney considering either a stop motion sequel or live action remake. I don't know how you do a live action movie with this. In October 20,
Lion King.
It's
No.
please God, no. Please God, leave good things alone. In October 2019, Chris Sarandon expressed interest on reprising his role as Jack Skellington if a sequel ever materialized. And then early this year, it was announced by Disney Publishing that a sequel was being given to the 93 film in form of a young adult novel. And it will be written by Shay Earnshaw and features Sally as the main character and be told through her point of view, with events taking place after the film.
Good, leave it that way. Don't make another movie. Just leave it.
I think that's like the best route with movies like this. If you do like comic series or not like a novel or something like that, I feel like that's fine because there's so much you could do with that. Film, it's just different, especially with how long it's been. It's been, 93. We're closing in at 30 years since this movie's been out. So it's just leave it alone. This was a perfect. To me, this movie has a perfect beginning, perfect middle, perfect end. That is it. We don't need more. I don't feel like what are you going to do? You're going to have Jack explore other holidays? Like, I feel like this whole movie was that
Thanksgiving.
It's stupid though. Like, why would you do that? Because Jack, the whole point of this movie is that Jack discovers Christmas Town, fucks up, and then learns his lesson. So why would he then go do the same thing over again? Like, it's just that would be dumb. Very dumb. So just leave it alone.
They don't need to eat, so.
Exactly. They're all dead. Who cares?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like the fact that we're getting, Henry Selick. I love how this type of filmmaking is still being done. I love stop
Yes.
motion.
Yes.
If you've, one that Tim Burton actually directed, which is actually pretty good, is Corpse Bride. That's a really good stop motion movie.
Yeah, Corpse Bride was pretty
Like
good.
we were saying before, Coraline, James and the Giant Peach, and then of course the movie coming out next year. So yeah, so that's it. We're next week we're going to be talking about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer from 1960 something. Four. I was going to say 64. Damn, I should have stuck to my guns. It is please help me with the production company. Was it Bass something? Rankin Bass.
Yep.
Boy, oh boy, this is going to be an interesting episode. I've seen Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer a lot, but it's also a 45-minute movie. So will our episode be longer than the movie itself? Because actually,
probably
we're getting close. We're almost to the runtime of the Nightmare Before Christmas for this episode. I mean, with editing, it'll be shorter, but will our Rudolph episode be shorter than the actual movie?
We'll eclipse it. We'll do it.
I honestly was thinking that this one was going to be short.
I mean, there's going to be some cutting I'm going to have to do with some of
it'll be about an hour.
Yeah, it'll be close to an hour probably, or a little over an hour. It'll be a good one though.
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
This one was fun. It was fun to finally talk about this. Even though I felt like I was way ill prepared. Even though I've seen this movie a fuck ton of times. I was like, I didn't even get to finish the movie today because I was like, shit, we got to start recording soon, and I still have like 35 minutes of this movie, so fuck it, I've seen this movie before, so I just left it. I was like, Angela will be here with all of her notes and all of her, like, she's the Nightmare Before Christmas expert, so I felt I was okay with not being as prepared as I usually am.
I'm sure somebody will tell me I got something wrong.
Probably. That's what they're there for.
We've had a lot of positive comments on our last couple videos. Not a lot of comments, but we get some comments, and they're all positive, and I appreciate that.
I've seen a few that made me feel really good. So.
Yeah.
You guys are keep us on our toes. So
yeah, exactly. That's the whole point of the comment section. You know, I love, what is it? Corrective criticism. Is that what they call it? Constructive criticism. That's what I meant to say.
Just don't be a bully.
Exactly. You know?
Just be polite, dude.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a couple of those when he used to do movie reviews. We've had a couple, or figure box openings. We had a couple that I had to fight on.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Gotta love those. Yeah, none of those, please.
Yeah. No bueno.
Yeah, don't.
None of those, please.
That'll definitely get.
Yeah. So next week, yes, we're talking about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which is Dan's pick for the month of December. Also on next Wednesday, we'll have episode 6 of Dexter New Blood review up. Hopefully you enjoyed episode 5 of our review of Dexter New Blood, because that was a lot of fun and the show is just fucking great. And also make sure to tell us like what movie series you'd like to see us review. We're always coming up with it. If you guys throw some ideas in the comments, we do have ideas of what we want to do starting in the new year. But if anybody at all, any of our fans want to come in and tell us a series that maybe we didn't think of, or something that you're a fan of, let us know. Also, we've only done one show on our Slice of TV show covering Dexter. If you wanted us to cover another TV show, let us know too. Also, like I stated before, I'm going to be starting to work on a Patreon that I'm hoping we can get up by the first of the year, so we can do some other shows or have some exclusive content for people who become patrons.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff in the works, but I had a lot of fun talking about The Nightmare Before Christmas. I want to thank DNA Gaming for always being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. Make sure to hit that sub. I just said that, but make sure to hit that because we're almost to 100 subs and we can get our URL, which is going to be great. I think right now, as of this recording, we're at like 71. So not too much left. We've been cooking. I like it. So, all right.
Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah, keep watching the Jurassic Park 3 video. We're almost to 5,000 views on that video. Okay. All right, till next time, I am Brett Parker. That is DNA Gaming. This is Dissect That Film, and this has been the Dissect That Film podcast. We'll see y'all next week. Bye.